All right, what's going on, friends? Now, my friends over at Vevor, still not really sure how to say that, sent me a MIG welder. They're 270. Now, this is one of their larger 3-in-1 MIG welders. Now, I'm mainly going to use this for MIG welding. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am brand new to this welding thing. I just started learning how to do a little bit of stick welding. Now I'm going to learn how to do a little bit of MIG welding. So I just want to show you that this welder is definitely, which out of all the research I did, this should be a really nice welder to buy and start learning how to MIG weld. I don't really think it's going to be that hard. Now, I recommend watching some of the more professional people here on YouTube and let them at least show you some tips and tricks on how to MIG weld. I will tell you a couple things, but like I said, I am definitely new to this. I will tell you the few things that I did learn. So hopefully you could, if you do buy this, you will get started and maybe one day you'll be a really good MIG welder. Now I'm just going to use the flux core wire. It comes with some flux core wire. I did buy my own flux core wire, some Lincoln stuff from Lowe's. So I'm probably going to use this. I'll just save this. It's the same size, so I'll just have a little extra. Let me show you everything here that came in the box with this MIG welder. Now, you can also stick weld. So it comes with your electrode to stick weld. It comes with your ground. This is for TIG welding here. It does come with that if you want to learn how to TIG weld and all the accessories that go with TIG welding. Maybe one day I'll try to learn that, but in this video I'm just going to do a little bit of MIG welding. Comes with this really fancy, cheap little wire brush and kind of a little hammer. I have my own little hammer. Comes with these fancy, nice sunglasses that maybe you could just wear outside if you want. I do not recommend using these to weld with. You can go buy, I think, even on Vevor, you could buy a cheap welding helmet if you want, or you could go to somewhere like I did go to Tractor Supply and bought this one. It wasn't too expensive. It was under $100. Or you could even go to Harbor Freight and buy something like this for under $100. But Vevor also sells that, a welding helmet that will work just fine. And then we have our piece for the MIG welding right here, which feels really, really nice. I think it's going to be fine. And then if you want to do solid core wire with this MIG welding machine, this is for the gas, which, like I said, I'm not going to really use that right now because I don't have any gas. Maybe one day I'll try to buy some gas. I'll let you know that they do say if you use gas with the solid core wire, you can make a lot nicer weld because you won't get all the splatter. One thing I also did is I went to Tractor Supply, and I will put some of this down in the description. You can buy this on Amazon too. It's anti-splatter spray. So when you spray this on the metal, it'll help clean that splatter off. Another thing I did buy from Harbor Freight, I bought this little nozzle because I'm not using gas. This gun comes with this little metal piece on the end, which you can kind of pull off, twist off, kind of twist it and pull at the same time. Take that little piece off. I'll try to put a link to something like this down in the description if I can find something like this, or just go to Harbor Freight or go on Harbor Freight website and you can order these. But they slide right over that. And because I'll show you here real quick. See, there's little holes in this gun right here that if you are going to use the gas is going to come out of them holes. But since I'm not using gas, it's going to be a lot nicer to have this little piece right here because it makes it a lot easier to see where you're welding. I don't plan on doing tons and tons of welding all year long, so I don't know if I'll ever buy any gas. Another thing I found out, using flux core welding wire is good for outside, like if you have to weld in the wind a little more, because if you are using gas, the wind tends to blow your gas away. But like I said, you don't have to use gas with the flux core. I'm going to get this all set up, and I'll try to show you a few tips on how easy it was to set up, and then we'll do some welding. Oh, one more thing I will show you. In this door that you open up, this is where you're going to put your wire on, and we're going to feed it through there. But right here on the door, it shows you how to hook everything up on the front. If you want to do MIG with gas, MIG without gas. If you just want to do stick welding, that's what the MMA is. That's for stick welding. And if you want to do TIG welding, it shows you how to hook everything up on the front. So that's kind of nice, so you don't have to sit there and try to remember how to do all that. One other thing, you can plug this into 110. It comes with the plug in the back is for 220. All these machines will run a lot better if you have 220, but if all you have is 110, you could try using this with 110. I'm going to use 220. All right, this Vevor welder did come with 8mm flux core wire, but like I said, I bought my own. So that's the same thing as .030, or like it says right here, 8mm. Now I'm gonna show you what I've learned on how to put this flux core wire on here. First thing I want to check, well, I already checked, but I think first thing you're going to want to do is open this up. This is what your wire is going to feed in here. Come through here, and there's a little wheel right here that's going to spin and keep feeding your wire. But I want you to take this off and just make sure, because this will take different size wires, make sure this wheel, when you look at this wheel, all right, make sure this wheel right here, it says 1.0, and on the other side, it says 0.8 on this side. So we want that 0.8, which mine did come with the 0.8 in, like where it needs to be, but I just want you to check. So the 0.8 is going to be going in first. So you'll see this 1.0 on the outside. So now that inside line is lined up where that wire is going to go through. So that was correct. Just put this back on, just in case somebody put that in backwards. Everything seems like it's set up for the 0.8, and the tip that's on the gun, this tip is also the 0.8mm. It comes with 2 extras in the box. Take this off, pull that all off. I'm going to turn this on. Got it plugged in. Thing's running. And there's a button on the front I'm going to end up using. This red button right here. I'm going to end up pushing that button. That should feed my wire when I get this all hooked up. Probably not a real big deal. You could almost pull this trigger too. But that button is made also for if you hook up gas to this. So that way you wouldn't, to feed your new wire through this thing, you wouldn't have to push this button, because every time you push this button, gas is going to come out of here. But I don't have gas hooked up, so it's not a big deal, but it is nice that it has that button. All right, when I put this on, you're going to want the wire at the bottom. You don't want it at the top. You want it at the bottom. So at least with this Lincoln, all the writing is going to go in first. You can put bigger wires or bigger spools of wire on this also, so that's really nice. These are just the small ones. I think the other ones are 11 pounds. They're real big. So when you're putting this on, don't let go of that wire. You don't want this to come all crazy apart, because it'll unspool. I just cut a little piece of that off in the end. It didn't seem like it was going to go in there real nice. There we go. That's better. Let's put all this on here. Spring on there. There we go. Just like that. I can shut this down. Now you can turn this right here. It's going to tighten and loosen that. So I'm going to put that down. We don't want this too tight, because they say you can actually smash this stuff. What I learned today, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's somebody out there that can tell me I'm wrong, but when that wire comes out the end of this tip, I should be able to stop it, they say. If I don't feel like I can stop it, I got to loosen that up. So let's see if it feeds this. I'm going to push this button, this red button in the front. Why is it not going? Oh, maybe I got to have it on. Right. Yeah, I got to have it on MIG. Ooh, it's feeding. There we go. Oh, you just push it and it keeps going. Now, some people also will take that tip off. I'm going to leave it on there and see what happens, because you could take that off and then put it on after the fact, but I think it's going to come right out. Here it comes. I feel it. Oh, there it is. Sweet, that worked fine. All right, now I just want to push this trigger and see if I can stop this stuff. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. Yeah, I think that's all right. Try that. Have this all on. Now let's go weld. All right, real quick, how I have this wired up, and I'm doing this without gas. So it's with the flux core wire. Like I said, I have this grounding clamp on the left side, and you just, all these, let me turn this thing off. Now it's gonna, as soon as you turn that off, it runs a little bit to cool down. There it goes. All right, so this one and this one, and I think some of the other ones are just the same, but you're just going to take this end here, and it goes in here like that, and you just turn it to the right like you would tighten something till it tightens up. But this little short wire is going to go here on the right. Now if you were welding with gas, it's going to be opposite. You'd have this on this side. Okay? That in there, twist that up, tight. All right, it's tight. My ground is tight. And then right here, that's where the gun gets hooked up to. Real simple. These 3 dials down here are for MIG welding. This one dial up here, that's for stick welding, okay? You're gonna have burn back. That pretty much means, it looks like a lot of the people will leave this right in the center. So we're gonna try in the center. But when you're welding a piece of metal, and as soon as you let off that trigger, it's gonna still be burning a little bit. So this allows you to adjust that so it'll keep putting wire out just for a split second or like half a second. So this wire don't burn right back up into your gun here. All right, and this switch here, that's going to switch you from MIG, in the center's TIG, and at the top is that MMA or the stick welding. That's that red button I talked about. I have some really thin metal here I'm going to weld, so I'm not sure, but I'm going to try 147. That seems too much. 93. I'm just trying to think from stick welding. Now when I'm welding, if it looks like I'm welding too hot, I can just turn this voltage down. We're going to try that. All right, I messed around with this a little bit. I'm going to just try to put some weld on here. Like I said, I am not a professional welder at all. This is just, I wanted to learn a little bit about MIG welding. I thought this would be a nice welder to have. They say to try to keep your wire feed here. You might want to clip that every time. It makes it a little easier. Try to keep that out about a ½ an inch. Okay? Well, let's see how good or bad I do. I don't know, I think that's definitely probably too wide. Really not sure. But I'll tell you what, if you ever tried stick welding, that thing's going to be awesome and way easier to learn than stick welding, I know that. Now I sprayed some of that anti-splatter on there. Definitely seems like it helps. That means I think it's too hot. I'm going to turn her down a little bit. Try that again. See that it went through. Probably too high. I turned it down a little bit. I'm learning, people. I'm learning here. This is fun. I think I'm just gonna go. Ooh. I think I got my tip too close. All right, put that one aside. We'll try this again. That's a little better. Maybe. That anti-splatter spray makes that brown color on there. A little better. If that's good or bad, just starting. Let's see if I can go crazy and weld that piece onto that piece. This little welding table came from Harbor Freight too, as I was trying to do some of this stuff on wood, and when you're trying to weld or cut stuff, wood tends to burn up. Now if you don't have like a metal table, you're going to want to have your ground clamp on the metal. I have it grounded right on the table. Let's see how good or bad this goes. I don't think that looks too bad. We're just starting today. Let me clean that up and I'll show you. I think I could get good at this. Maybe. Let's see if I find one of my welding buddies to come over. Alright, there's what it looks like. I don't think that's too bad for just starting. Way easier than stick welding. This metal is 1/8 of an inch thick. And I don't know if you care, but I have it. Right, these are the settings I had it on for that 1/8 inch. For that last weld, I don't think it was too bad. Just make sure you don't weld too fast. It looks like I have it on about 16.5 voltage and 128 on the current. Now if you turn this wire speed up and down, it's going to change that. Pretty touchy. 130, that's not too bad. But if I turn the voltage up, this is what changes this. And I did have my burn back rated just a little bit over halfway. Now this is that Vevor plasma cutter. This thing is very, very awesome too. That thing right there, let me show you real quick. That cut through this 5/16 inch steel, pretty much like it was butter. You can watch that video too if you want to. But look at that. Look how good it made that cut right there. I mean, I think that's really good. That's kind of why I wanted it to cut stuff like this. All right, well, so far I think this is going to be fun. I think if I got a bunch more metal somewhere and kept practicing, I definitely think I could get a lot better at welding with this MIG welder than I do with the stick welder. Now, you can stick weld with this also, so if you want to mess with that, go for it. And TIG weld. I might try that TIG weld down the road. That works pretty slick. Definitely pretty slick. You just got to learn where to set your voltage and your wire speed, and just make sure you don't try to weld really fast. You got to take your time. That was one thing I seen when I was trying to watch some of these YouTube videos, and I watched one guy trying to help another guy out, and he was saying just you can't weld real fast. You got to let that puddle there. You can't be dragging too far in front of that puddle. But that is on there really hooked together good. I can't believe how good that thing worked. Well, I highly recommend that. I really think you'd be happy with this, especially if you're just learning to weld, or if you just want a small little welder that doesn't take up a lot of space. All right, well, thanks for watching this video. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below and hit that subscribe button to help support my channel. God bless and happy welding.